Need y'all to listen up, because what I'm about to say might just change the way you see the world. Now, I know we live in times where everybody's got an opinion, and too often, those opinions come wrapped in fear, wrapped in misunderstanding. And I see it every day, people talking about Islam like they've studied it for decades, when the truth is they barely know the surface. But tonight, I want you to do something different. I want you to take a minute, let go of everything you thought you knew, and just listen. Because what I'm about to share, well, it's not something you hear on the news. It's not something you read in the headlines that scream conflict and chaos. No, my friends, this is something quiet, something profound, and yet for so long, hidden. Queen Elizabeth herself, a woman who's seen the world in ways most of us can only imagine, spoke words about Islam that very few have ever heard. Words that reveal understanding, respect, and a vision for unity that most folks would never expect from someone living in the halls of royalty. And I promise you, if you let this sink in, it's gonna challenge some things you thought were true. It's gonna make you question the noise you've been fed. How many of y'all think you know the truth about Islam? Hold on real tight, because I'm about to show you what most folks don't see, what most folks don't even want to see. And I need y'all to feel it, not just hear it. You feel me? So lean in, take a breath, and let's step into something that's bigger than headlines, bigger than fear, bigger than the world as you've been told it is. I'll be real with y'all, I didn't know half of what I'm about to tell you, and I say that because for a long time, I walked around with the same assumptions most of us do. You know, thinking I had it all figured out, thinking that the stories we see, the news we hear, that's the whole truth. But life has a way of humbling you if you let it. See, I remember the first time I really sat down and started talking to Muslims, not in a classroom, not in a headline, but face to face. And let me tell you, y'all, it hit me like a brick. I realized how much I'd been missing, how much I'd been taking for granted, and how easy it is to believe a story someone else is selling without ever looking for the real one. I remember this one man I met, I ain't gonna use his real name, but let's call him Ahmed. Ahmed sat me down, looked me straight in the eyes, and he said, "Steve, the world thinks we are different, but the truth is we're not so different at all." And I sat there, and I felt this weight lift off me because I realized how blinded I had been by what I thought I knew. And I got to tell y'all, it was funny too, because I tried to impress him thinking I knew something, and man, he just laughed. That laugh, it shook me up because it was warm, inviting, not mocking. And I thought, wow, maybe I've been wrong all along. I've made mistakes, oh yes, plenty of them. Assumptions, judgments, thinking that one story told me everything I needed to know. But here's the thing, my friends, those mistakes, they taught me something. They taught me to listen. And when you listen, really listen, you start to hear a side of the world you never imagined. You start to see people not as headlines or stereotypes, but as human beings with hopes, fears, struggles, and faith that guides them in ways that can teach you if you're willing to learn. And I want you to feel this right here with me. There's something powerful in admitting you don't know, something freeing in saying, I've been wrong before and I'll be wrong again. Because once you admit that, doors open. Doors to understanding, doors to respect, doors to real connection. I started reading, studying, asking questions, and slowly, little by little, the world started to look different. The assumptions faded, and in their place, truth began to settle in. Now, don't get me wrong, this journey wasn't all deep and serious. Man, oh man, I had some funny moments too. I remember trying to say a few Arabic phrases just to impress Ahmed. I thought I nailed it, I really did. And he just chuckled, shook his head, and corrected me gently. And I swear, y'all, I laughed so hard that day, not at myself, but at how quickly I realized how little I knew. And that, my friends, is the thing about learning. You gotta be willing to laugh at yourself, to stumble, to admit, hey, I've got a lot to learn. As I kept learning, it became clear. Islam isn't what the news makes it out to be. It isn't fear, it isn't conflict, it isn't something to keep at a distance. It's community, it's justice, it's compassion, it's fairness. And when you start to see those truths, it's like a veil lifts. Suddenly the world doesn't feel so divided, and the noise, all that chaos we've been hearing, it starts to fade because you're seeing the people behind it. Real people, people who care, people who pray, people who live lives filled with purpose and dignity. And I need y'all to hear me here. This isn't some far off story. This is happening every day all around us. I met families, teachers, shopkeepers, young people striving to do right in a world that too often misunderstands them. And each story, each conversation, each smile, it chipped away at my old beliefs. And I promise you, it will do the same for you if you open your heart. So I ask you again, lean in with me, laugh with me, reflect with me, because what I'm about to show y'all next, it's going to challenge everything you thought you knew. And if you're ready, I promise it's worth it. Because the journey I took, it led me to a truth that isn't just surprising, it's life-changing. And tonight, I want y'all to walk that path with me, step by step, word by word, heart to heart. Now, I need y'all to understand, there's a history here that most folks never talk about. And I mean, really never talk about. You see, when we hear the name Queen Elizabeth, most of us think crowns, ceremonies, and Buckingham Palace, right? But there's more to her story than what the cameras show. There's a side of her life, a side of her leadership, and a side of her heart that very few people pay attention to. And this is where it gets interesting. You see, over the decades, Queen Elizabeth didn't just sit in her palace and wave at parades. No, ma'am, she was meeting people from all over the world, learning from them, listening to them. And when it comes to Islam, she had encounters with leaders, scholars, and communities that most of us would never even imagine. These weren't just polite handshakes and formal smiles. No, these were moments of real dialogue, moments where she actually sat down and listened. And I need y'all to picture that. Someone raised in the royal world, someone used to having the world bend around her, taking time to listen and learn about a faith that for many in the West has been shrouded in misunderstanding. And let me tell y'all what she said. Not many people heard it, but I'm about to share it with you because those words, my friends, they carry weight, they carry wisdom, and they carry something that has the power to change the way we think about the world, about each other, about humanity itself. But before I get to that, I need to give y'all a little context. See, Islam has a history that spans centuries. It's a history of learning, of art, of culture, of trade, of science, things that have touched the world in ways many of us don't even realize. And Queen Elizabeth, over her reign, had the chance to see some of that firsthand. She met scholars who could quote centuries-old texts from memory, leaders who governed with a sense of justice that was inspiring, communities that welcomed her with open arms, even when politics made it complicated. And she didn't just nod politely, she engaged, she asked questions, she listened, and she understood that to truly lead, you have to know the people you are speaking about, not just the stories people tell you about them. And here's the thing, y'all. Most of the world didn't see this side of her. They didn't read the letters, the private notes, the conversations recorded in journals tucked away from the public eye. But I got to tell you, these moments mattered. They mattered because in them, Queen Elizabeth revealed respect, curiosity, and a willingness to embrace understanding over fear. And I know some of y'all are thinking, Steve, what difference does it make what she thought? But here's the truth. When someone with influence, someone the world watches, takes the time to see the truth, it changes everything. It sets an example. It shifts perception, and it opens doors that fear and misunderstanding have kept closed for far too long. I want y'all to imagine sitting in a grand hall with her, the chandeliers shining above, the air thick with expectation. And there she is asking questions, not to challenge, not to judge, but to understand. and the leaders around her, scholars from all over the Muslim world, sharing stories of faith, of community, of resilience. Can y'all see it? I want y'all to see it in your mind because that picture matters. That's where the story really begins. And the fascinating part is that she didn't keep her insights to herself. Quietly, privately, she documented her thoughts, her reflections, her respect for a faith that too often gets misunderstood. She talked about justice. She talked about compassion. She talked about the importance of seeing beyond fear and rumor. And that's when I realized, my friends, this isn't just history. This is a lesson for all of us. Because too often we let noise, we let headlines, we let fear dictate what we believe. But if Queen Elizabeth could step back, listen, and learn, surely we can too, right? And I got to tell y'all, some of her words were shocking. Not shocking in a scandalous way, no, shocking in a way that makes you stop and think, wow, someone in that position with that power took the time to see truth over assumption. And I want y'all to feel that shock with me right here, right now, because it's important. It's the kind of revelation that challenges what we think we know and opens us up to something bigger. So as we move forward, I need you to keep this picture in your mind. The Queen, the scholars, the conversations that never made headlines, the respect that was quietly expressed, and the lessons that were being learned in silence. Because that silence, that's where truth often lives. That's where understanding begins. And when we step into that space, when we open ourselves to it, we start to see the world and each other in a whole new light. And don't y'all forget this. History isn't just dates and events. History is people, real people, making real choices that ripple through time. And Queen Elizabeth's choice to engage, to listen, to learn about Islam, that choice matters. It matters because it shows us what's possible when we let curiosity overcome fear, when we let respect replace suspicion, when we dare to step into understanding instead of staying comfortable in our assumptions. And y'all, that's exactly what we're doing tonight. We're stepping into understanding. We're peeling back the layers that most folks never even try to touch. And I promise you, what comes next, the words she spoke, the insights she shared, it's going to change the way you think about faith, about humanity, and about the way we see each other in this world. So hold on, stay with me, and let's keep stepping together. Because the story isn't just about her, it's about all of us learning how to live with a little more wisdom, a little more grace, and a whole lot more heart. Listen up. Y'all need to hear this real good, because these words right here, they'll make you stop and think, and I mean really stop. I don't want nobody just nodding along or thinking, yeah, I get it. No, I want y'all to feel it, sink it in, let it hit you in your heart, because what I'm about to share, it ain't what most folks expect. Queen Elizabeth, in her quiet moments, away from the cameras, away from the headlines, said something about Islam that, well, most people would never even believe came from a monarch. She said, and I quote in her private notes, to truly understand the world, one must step into the hearts of those we barely know, for it is there we find our own reflection. Y'all hear me? That's real talk. Take a minute. Let that sink in. She's telling us that understanding isn't just about knowing facts or history. It's about empathy. It's about connection. And isn't that something we all could use a little more of these days? Now, I need y'all to picture this with me. A queen raised in a world of privilege, of protocol, of people constantly telling her what to think and how to act. And she's choosing to see beyond the noise. She's choosing to engage, to learn, to understand a faith that too many have feared, misrepresented, or ignored. And she wrote that Islam is not a foreign thing, not a stranger at the door, but a mirror, something that reflects our shared humanity. Can y'all feel that? That's powerful, right? And she didn't stop there. She said, Islam teaches a reverence for justice, a commitment to community, and a responsibility to the greater good. These are not distant ideals. They are lessons we can all bring into our lives. Now, hold on. Think about that for a second. Y'all see, so often the world talks about Islam in the same breath as fear, conflict, misunderstanding. And here's the Queen, a figure many of us respect, without question, saying, no, look closer, see what it really is. I don't know about y'all, but that stopped me in my tracks the first time I read it. And I want y'all to feel this next part, because this is where it really hits home. She wrote, the heart of Islam is not in the headlines, nor in the politics, nor in the extremists that grab attention. The heart of Islam is compassion, mercy, and the pursuit of knowledge. Y'all hear that? Compassion, mercy, knowledge, not what the world's been feeding us. And if that doesn't make you stop and rethink, well, I don't know what will. And I got to tell y'all, when I first read her words, I laughed a little. I laughed because I thought to myself, man, how many of us have been living under the lie that Islam is something to fear? And then I got quiet. I thought about all the times I assumed, all the times I judged without knowing. And I said to myself, Steve, you better pay attention. This is real. And y'all, that's exactly what makes these words so remarkable. They weren't shouted in a speech or used for headlines. They were quiet, reflective, and full of truth. And the queen, she wasn't just observing, she was learning. She was absorbing the lessons. She even went further. And I want y'all to lean in now, because this part is powerful. She said, if we allow ourselves to see the shared values, the shared humanity, the shared hopes and dreams, we can bridge divides that have lasted for centuries. Now, let me pause right here. Do y'all feel that? Think about it. The world is full of walls, full of suspicion, full of people pointing fingers and saying, you're different, you're strange, you're other. And here's this woman, a queen, saying, look deeper, find the common ground, learn from one another. That's heavy, right? Heavy in the best way. And I got to be honest with y'all, reading her words, I started thinking about my own life, about the times I've judged too quickly, the times I've laughed at what I didn't understand, the times I've walked past an opportunity to connect with someone just because it was easier to stay in my own lane. And y'all, if a queen can sit down and recognize the humanity in a faith that the world misunderstands, then surely I can do better. Surely we all can do better. And here's the part that really struck me, the contrast. The contrast between what the world hears about Islam and what she saw. The contrast between headlines full of fear and a heart full of truth. The contrast between chaos and calm, ignorance and understanding, noise and wisdom. And I want y'all to feel that contrast with me right here, right now, because that's where the power of these words lives. In the space between what people assume and what is actually real. She didn't just stop at observation, she reflected on action too. She wrote, we have a responsibility to recognize the goodness in others, to cultivate understanding, and to reject the easy path of fear. And man, that's something we all need to hear, right? It's easy to fear. It's easy to judge. It's easy to turn away. But to engage, to learn, to open your heart, that takes courage. That takes wisdom. That takes a willingness to admit, I might have been wrong. And y'all, if that ain't inspiring, I don't know what is. And I want to be clear here. This ain't just about Islam. It's about humanity. It's about seeing the world with eyes wide open, about listening with ears that aren't clogged with prejudice, and about walking through life carrying a heart that's bigger than fear. And when I read her words, that's exactly what I felt. Awe, inspiration, a little shock, because it challenged everything I thought I knew. And that's exactly what learning is supposed to do. And so tonight, as I share this with y'all, I want you to sit with it. Let it settle in your bones. Let it stir something inside you that maybe you didn't know was there. And as we move forward, I want y'all to carry these words with you. Compassion, mercy, knowledge, empathy, and understanding. That's what she saw. That's what she wanted the world to see. And now it's our turn. Because here's the truth, my friends. The world is full of fear, full of division, full of people running from what they don't understand. But if we can step into the space of understanding, if we can let these words guide us, if we can open our hearts just a little wider, then maybe, just maybe, we can start building bridges where there were once walls. And that, my friends, is the real revelation of what she said. Not just words on paper, but a map, a guide, a challenge to live differently, to see differently, and to love a little more than we thought we could. Now, y'all need to lean in real close for this part, because this is where it gets personal. I want to talk about what these words, these hidden words, actually mean for you, for me, for all of us living in this world right now. And I want y'all to understand something. This ain't just history. This ain't just some story about a queen writing down thoughts in private journals. No, man, this is a lesson. A lesson about how we live, how we see each other, how we treat each other, and how we can do better every single day. So let's start here. She said compassion, mercy, knowledge, empathy, understanding. Now, hold on. Let me tell y'all something. Compassion ain't just being nice. Compassion is seeing someone who's different from you and still understanding them. It's putting yourself in their shoes, even if you don't like what they're wearing, what they're saying, or how they pray. And y'all, that is a hard thing to do, but it's necessary. It's necessary if we ever want to break down the walls that have been built by fear and misunderstanding. Mercy, oh mercy. I need y'all to think about this. Mercy ain't weakness. Mercy ain't letting folks walk all over you. Mercy is knowing that forgiveness, that patience, that second chances, they build something stronger than anger ever will. And she saw that in Islam, in the teachings, in the people she met. And I'll tell you what, if a queen can recognize that, surely we can too, right? Surely we can treat people with a little more grace, a little more patience, a little more heart, and then knowledge. Y'all hear me? Knowledge. She wasn't just talking about reading a book or watching the news. No, she meant real understanding, learning from people who live differently than you do, asking questions you might be afraid to ask, listening when others speak, and not just waiting to talk. And this, my friends, this is where the world changes, when we seek knowledge instead of fear, when we learn instead of judge. That's how we start to see the truth. And that's exactly what I want y'all to take with you tonight, because I know some of y'all are sitting here thinking, Steve, that's great for her, but what about me? What can I do? Well, let me tell you, you can do a lot. You can start by listening. You can start by asking questions instead of assuming. You can start by recognizing the humanity in someone you've been taught to fear. And let me tell y'all, that starts a ripple. One conversation, one connection, one act of understanding. It grows, it spreads, and before you know it, it changes a little corner of the world. And here's the thing, I need y'all to get this. Understanding isn't easy. It takes effort. It takes humility. It takes courage. Because when you step outside of your assumptions, when you open your heart to someone who's different, there's a risk that you might be wrong, a risk that you might be challenged, a risk that people around you might not understand why you're doing it. But let me tell y'all something, the rewards are worth it, because understanding brings peace. Understanding brings connection. Understanding brings hope. And let me make it real for y'all. I remember sitting in a room with a young Muslim family, talking to them about my life, about my experiences, about the things I had assumed. And you know what happened? We laughed, we cried, we shared stories. And in that moment, all those differences, gone. All the noise, all the fear, all the misunderstanding, gone. And I thought to myself, Steve, this is what the Queen saw. This is what she was trying to tell the world. And I promise you, if we take that lesson, if we live that lesson, we can change more than just ourselves. We can change communities, neighborhoods, cities, even countries. And I want y'all to remember this too. These lessons aren't just about Islam, they're about all of us, about every religion, every culture, every person who's been misunderstood or judged unfairly. Because the truth is, most folks want the same things: respect, love, security, happiness. And when we start seeing that truth instead of the fear, when we start living that truth instead of the lies, we start building a world that's stronger, better, and more connected than the one we've inherited. So I want y'all to take this to heart. Mercy, compassion, knowledge, empathy, understanding.
These aren't just words on a page. These are tools, tools for life, tools for connection, tools for transformation. And I need y'all to use them in your homes, use them at work, use them with neighbors, use them when you don't feel like it, especially then, because that's when it matters the most. And y'all, don't get me wrong, this isn't always easy. I know it ain't easy, because I've had my moments, times when I've been quick to judge, quick to fear, quick to assume. But every time I step back, every time I listen, every time I try to understand, I grow. And I promise you, the same goes for you. And that's what makes these lessons so powerful, because they're not just theory, they're practice. They're something you do every day, in every conversation, in every interaction, in every choice you make. So tonight, I need y'all to ask yourselves, what walls have I been building? What assumptions have I been carrying? What fear have I been listening to instead of truth? And what can I do starting right now to take a step toward understanding, toward connection, toward the humanity that Queen Elizabeth saw in Islam, and that I want y'all to see too? Because, my friends, that's where change begins, one heart at a time, one mind at a time, one choice at a time. Now, y'all, before we go any further, I gotta lighten it up a little, because I know I've been hitting y'all with all this heavy, deep stuff, and we need a little laughter in here. Y'all ready? All right, lean in. See, I remember this one time I was invited to a community event with a group of young Muslim kids. And man, I thought I was walking in prepared, thinking I knew what to expect. I put on my Steve Harvey charm, my best smile, thinking I was about to impress everybody with my knowledge. But oh no. The moment I walked in, one of the kids, a little boy, maybe 10 or 11, he looks me up and down, squints his eyes and says, "Mr. Harvey, you don't know nothing." And the whole room just cracked up laughing. And I'm standing there thinking, wait a minute, wait a minute.
Wait a minute, what did you just say to me? And y'all, I laughed too, cause he was right. I didn't know nothing. I was coming in with all these assumptions, thinking I had it all figured out in that little kid. He taught me a lesson bigger than any book, any speech, any headline could ever teach. And I looked around the room and I saw parents smiling, teachers nodding, and I realized humor is part of understanding, laughter is part of connection. And humility is the bridge that gets you across the divide. And let me tell y'all, it wasn't just kids. I remember meeting a family who invited me over for dinner, right? And I'm sitting there thinking, man, I better not mess this up. I gotta be polite, I gotta act right. And then the youngest kid drops a plate and it smashes all over the floor. And what do? I froze. But the dad just laughed, the mom laughed, the whole room laughed, and I laughed too. And in that moment, all those walls, all those fears, all those assumptions I had gone. Just laughter, just humanity. And that's when I realized, y'all, that's exactly what these hidden words of the Queen are about. It ain't just theory, it's lived experience. Now I gotta tell y'all another story. This one's funny, but it's real. I was invited to visit a mosque in a small town, and I thought I was walking in like a celebrity, you know, all confident. And the imam, a wise older man, he greets me, and I try to say a few Arabic words. Y'all, I butchered them. I mean, I might as well have been speaking gibberish. And the whole room starts laughing. But it wasn't mean laughter. No, it was warm, welcoming, inclusive. And that, my friends, is exactly what we're talking about. When you come with humility, when you come willing to learn, people welcome you. They don't push you away. They invite you in. And humor helps us see our mistakes without shame, helps us connect without judgment. And I want y'all to get this. Learning about someone else, about their faith, about their life, doesn't have to be all serious. Y'all hear me? It can be fun. It can be joyful. It can be human. Because the truth is, when we see people as human, not as headlines, not as fear, not as stereotypes, we start laughing together, we start learning together, we start building connection. And that's powerful, right? Powerful in a way that words on a page just can't capture. And let me tell y'all about another moment that hit me real hard. I was sitting with a group of young adults talking about misunderstandings in their communities, and one of the young women leans in and says, "Steve, we get it. People are scared, people judge, but we just want someone to see us for who we are." And I looked at her and thought, man, ain't that the truth of the world? And we laughed because the honesty in her words was raw. And I thought to myself, this right here is what all this talk, all this study, all these hidden words are pointing to. It's not about fear. It's about seeing. It's about laughing. It's about connecting. And y'all, that's the beauty of stories. Stories bring lessons to life. They make history real. They make wisdom tangible. And when we laugh with someone, when we cry with someone, when we share a meal or a story or even a broken plate, that's when understanding begins. That's when walls start to crumble. That's when fear starts to fade. And I promise you, if y'all take that lesson, you can carry it into every part of your life, home, work, neighborhood, church, school, wherever you are. So tonight, as we laugh, as we reflect, as we open our hearts, I want y'all to remember one thing. Humor and humility are powerful teachers. And the Queen's words, the lessons of Islam, the experiences I've had, they all point to the same truth. We are more alike than we are different. And when we approach life with an open heart, with a little laughter, with willingness to connect, we start seeing that truth. And that, my friends, is where change begins. Not in headlines, not in fear, not in judgment, but in stories, laughter, humility, and real connection. And I need y'all to take that with you tonight. Laugh with someone who's different. Listen to someone who's misunderstood. Share a story, ask a question, admit when you don't know. Because that's the bridge, that's the path forward. And let me tell you, it works. It works every time. I've seen it, I've lived it, and I promise you, if you step into it, it will change you too. All right. Now we get to the part where it gets real. I need y'all to listen closely, because this ain't just talk. This is a call to action. And I mean it in the truest sense of those words. I want y'all to walk out of here or finish watching this video and think differently, see differently, and most importantly, act differently. Y'all remember the Queen's hidden words, right? Compassion, mercy, knowledge, empathy, understanding. Well, it's time to take those words off the page and put them into action. And I know what some of y'all are thinking. Yeah, Steve, I'm just one person. What can I really do? And let me tell you something. One person can do more than you think. One person's heart, one person's effort, one person willing to open up can start a ripple that nobody sees coming. First things first, we got to start with ourselves. And I need y'all to be honest. When was the last time you truly listened to someone who's different from you? I don't mean pretending. I mean really listening. Listening with your heart, not just your ears. Listening without planning your response or judging their words. And I promise you, the world changes when you do that. Just that small act, that's the beginning of understanding. Next, I want y'all to step into curiosity. Ask questions, not to argue, not to prove a point, not to make yourself look smart. Ask questions because you care about knowing the truth. And I'll tell y'all, curiosity is powerful. Curiosity tears down walls faster than any argument ever could. And when you approach someone's life, their faith, their culture with curiosity instead of fear, it's like opening a door that's been locked for centuries. And let's talk about action. Don't just feel it, do it. Invite someone over for dinner, share a meal, a conversation, visit a community center, a mosque, a church, a temple, see how people live, see how people love, see how people care. And I need y'all to take this seriously. Don't just go and peek, go and participate, go and engage, go and open yourself up to the full experience. That's how you bridge gaps. That's how you turn fear into friendship, assumptions into understanding. Now, here's the part I love the most. I want y'all to spread what you learn. Share these lessons with your family, your friends, your coworkers. Don't keep it to yourself. You've got a gift when you understand something others don't, and sharing it isn't showing off. It's lifting others up, opening doors, creating spaces where dialogue and respect can flourish. And I promise you, people notice, people respond. And the more of us who do it, the bigger the change gets. And I need to hit y'all with this truth. It ain't always easy. There will be moments where people don't get it,
moments where you feel isolated, judged, or misunderstood. But that's when your courage matters the most. That's when you remind yourself why you're doing this. You're doing it because the world is bigger than fear. You're doing it because love, respect, and understanding are more powerful than hate, ignorance, and suspicion. And y'all, that's exactly what makes this journey worth it. And here's one last thing I want y'all to hear. Change starts with perspective. You cannot expect the world to change if you're still seeing it through the lens of assumptions, stereotypes, or fear. Shift your perspective. See people, every person, as human beings with stories, struggles, and dreams. See faith not as a weapon or a threat, but as a guide, a light, a source of wisdom. See the world not in headlines or fear, but in connections, moments, and relationships. And I promise you, when you do that, you start living differently, you start thinking differently, and most importantly, you start loving differently. And y'all, that's what the Queen was teaching us with her hidden words. That's what the Muslim leaders she met were showing her. And that's what every person willing to step into understanding is showing us today. It's not complicated. It's not about rules. It's about heart. It's about courage. It's about humility. And it's about choosing every single day to do better than we did yesterday. So I want y'all to leave with this challenge tonight. Take one action, just one. Listen to someone you normally wouldn't. Ask a question about a faith or culture you don't know. Share a story that connects instead of divides. Laugh together. Break bread together. And I promise that one action, it starts a chain reaction that can change your world, your community, and maybe even the world beyond what you see. And I need y'all to hear me on this. This isn't just inspiration. This is practical, real world action. You don't need a crown, a title, or a platform to make a difference. You just need a willing heart, a curious mind, and the courage to step outside your comfort zone. And if you do that, trust me, the world will notice, the people around you will feel it, and you, my friends, will begin to see the truth in ways you never imagined. So tonight, I want y'all to take these words, these lessons, and these stories and carry them with you. Let them guide you, challenge you, inspire you, and push you to be better, do better, and love better. And if you do that, if you step into this path, I promise you, the ripple starts with you and it can reach farther than you ever dreamed. Remember, compassion, mercy, knowledge, empathy, understanding, that's the roadmap. Share these lessons with your family, your friends, your coworkers. Don't keep it to yourself. You've got a gift when you understand something others don't, and sharing it isn't showing off. It's lifting others up, opening doors, creating spaces where dialogue and respect can flourish. And I promise you, people notice, people respond. And the more of us who do it, the bigger the change gets. And I need to hit y'all with this truth. It ain't always easy. There will be moments where people don't get it, moments where you feel isolated, judged, or misunderstood. But that's when your courage matters the most. That's when you remind yourself why you're doing this. You're doing it because the world is bigger than fear. You're doing it because love, respect, and understanding are more powerful than hate, ignorance, and suspicion. And y'all, that's exactly what makes this journey worth it. And here's one last thing I want y'all to hear. Change starts with perspective. You cannot expect the world to change if you're still seeing it through the lens of assumptions, stereotypes, or fear. Shift your perspective. See people, every person, as human beings with stories, struggles, and dreams. See faith not as a weapon or a threat, but as a guide, a light, a source of wisdom. See the world not in headlines or fear, but in connections, moments, and relationships. And I promise you, when you do that, you start living differently, you start thinking differently, and most importantly, you start loving differently. And y'all, that's what the Queen was teaching us with her hidden words. That's what the Muslim leaders she met were showing her. And that's what every person willing to step into understanding is showing us today. It's not complicated. It's not about rules. It's about heart. It's about courage. It's about humility.
and it's about choosing every single day to do better than we did yesterday. So I want y'all to leave with this challenge tonight. Take one action, just one. Listen to someone you normally wouldn't. Ask a question about a faith or culture you don't know. Share a story that connects instead of divides. Laugh together, break bread together. And I promise that one action, it starts a chain reaction that can change your world, your community, and maybe even the world beyond what you see. And I need y'all to hear me on this. This isn't just inspiration. This is practical, real world action. You don't need a crown, a title, or a platform to make a difference. You just need a willing heart, a curious mind, and the courage to step outside your comfort zone. And if you do that, trust me, the world will notice, the people around you will feel it, and you, my friends, will begin to see the truth in ways you never imagined. So tonight, I want y'all to take these words, these lessons, and these stories and carry them with you. Let them guide you, challenge you, inspire you, and push you to be better, do better, and love better. And if you do that, if you step into this path, I promise you, the ripple starts with you, and it can reach farther than you ever dreamed. Remember, compassion, mercy, knowledge, empathy, understanding, that's the roadmap.